I'm Lucas, 29, and man, I used to think I knew how my family worked. It's like there were these hidden rules, the kind you don't even know exist until you trip over them and land flat on your face. Rules like don't get your hopes up, don't be better than your sister, and definitely don't act like your feelings are a big deal. I didn't always get it, though. When that's all you know, you just think it's normal, that birthdays are no biggie. If someone forgets something you care about, you figure it's your fault for caring too much. You even start telling yourself that nobody noticing you is like a grown-up thing, that maybe love in your family is just different. Quiet, practical, that's the lie I kept feeding myself every time I got the shaft while my little sister, Qley, got treated like royalty. It started small. Growing up, her birthdays were always a bigger deal, more people, perfect for showing off online. Me, I get a couple of cupcakes and a we'll do something later that never happened. Qley got balloons, clowns, the whole 9 yards. I thought whatever, she's the baby. Mom and Dad had more energy then, but we got older and things stayed the same. Actually, they got worse. Qley got a car for her 18th. I got a pat on the back and a framed baby picture of me I'd seen a million times. And like always, I kept my mouth shut. That's what I did best. I was so used to just choking down everything, pretending it wasn't happening until it all felt numb. This year, though, things felt off. Maybe it was me who was off. I'd just gotten back to my hometown after being gone for a few years for work. I'd lost my design job, so I was trying to get my freelance thing going, and I thought being around family might help, get my head straight. It didn't. I got back right smack in the middle of Qley's birthday weekend. It was this epic 3-day party in their backyard. It was practically a wedding. They had those big white tents, a band, catered food, the whole 9 yards. Sparklers, a photo booth crazy. Everyone in the neighborhood was there. Mom had a new dress on. Dad was grilling burgers and laughing like he hadn't just had back surgery the month before. And Qley, she was wearing a crown, a literal crown. No one even realized I was home until Qley spotted me by the gate. "Oh," she said like she was actually shocked. "I didn't think you'd be back so soon." I just shrugged and smiled, trying not to let it get to me. "Just got in this morning," I told her. She kind of nodded and then went back to her friends. I just stood there for a minute, thinking maybe someone would offer me some food or ask how I was. Nothing. Finally, I grabbed a soda and sat on the edge of the patio next to a folding chair that had cake frosting smeared all over it. That was Qley's party. Mine was 2 weeks later. I wasn't expecting a big deal. Honestly, I wasn't expecting anything. But what happened still kind of hurt. Most of the day, I was chained to the kitchen table, tweaking things for clients while everyone else just went about their day like it was any old day. It was around 9 at night when a text popped up in the family group chat. "Happy birthday, Lucas." No emojis, no phone call, not even a peep from anyone. 10 minutes later, my dad strolled by on his way to the garage and casually mentioned there was pizza left if I wanted some. I opened the fridge. There it was, a sad, greasy box with 2 slices left, one already gnawed on. That was it. That was my birthday bash. I didn't say anything right away. I just stood there, the cold air hitting my face. My chest felt like it was about to explode or just completely shut down. I took out the box, warmed up a slice, and ate it alone at the table. Then my mom walked in, arms full of laundry. She stopped when she saw me. "Oh," she said, like she'd totally forgotten I was even there. "You're too old for all that birthday stuff anyway, right?" She gave a little smile like it was a joke. I didn't smile. I just nodded, pushed the pizza crust away, and stood up. "Yeah," I whispered, like I was agreeing I was too old. I went to my room, closed the door, and started packing. It wasn't a dramatic thing. It was quiet, deliberate, almost automatic. I grabbed my important stuff, my laptop, some clothes, a couple of old sketchbooks. I didn't even bother with the stuff I had in the garage or my tools from the basement. I just couldn't take it anymore. I abandoned that half-eaten pizza, tossed my bedroom key on the dresser, and left a simple thanks note on the fridge. Then I was gone. No big scene, no yelling match. I just walked out, got in my car, and drove. I had no clue where I was headed. I ended up at an old friend's place across town. I hadn't spoken to them in ages, but they let me crash on their couch, no questions asked. I killed my phone before I even knew if anyone had noticed I was missing. It wasn't until the next morning that I felt the fallout of my actions. My friend was brewing coffee when my phone started blowing up on the counter. 3 missed calls from Aunt Karen, a voicemail, then a text. "Why won't anyone tell me where you went? Your mom is crying. Qley is freaking out. What happened?" I didn't reply to my aunt right away. I didn't respond to any of them. By lunchtime, my phone was overloaded with messages from everyone in the family. Some were totally panicked. "Lucas, where are you? Just call us, please." Others had that fake, concerned tone. "Hey man, it's Qley. We're all super worried. Can you just let someone know you're safe?" My mom's message was the one that really got to me. I don't know what I did to deserve this. You could have at least said goodbye. I almost laughed when I read that she didn't know what she did. That was always the worst part, you know? Not the being forgotten, not the picking favorites. They couldn't even see me unless I was being helpful or just shut up. But now that I was out of that, now that I'd taken myself out of the picture, they felt my absence, like there was a missing chair at dinner. I didn't go back that whole week. I stayed at my friend Darren's, crashing on his couch, offering to cook or do dishes to help pay rent. He didn't ask for anything, just gave me a spare key and said, stay as long as you need. Sometimes that kind of quiet support hits you harder than any family ties. We'd stay up late, watching old shows or reliving our high school band days that never went anywhere. And every night my phone would light up with more calls. Qley started putting up those vague posts on Instagram, screenshots of sad songs, plain black screens with white words like you never really know what someone's dealing with. Even my mom posted an old baby picture of me with a caption that said, "Miss you, come home." That was hilarious, considering she'd forgotten my birthday cake. But I wasn't ready for what happened next. A few days later, Darren gave me the mail. "You get something," he said, looking confused. I blinked. "Here," he pointed. "It's from your folks. Weird, huh?" It was a pale yellow envelope with my full name in my mom's perfect handwriting. No return address, no fancy stickers, no idea what it was. I took a second before opening it, figuring it was gonna be some dramatic letter full of apologies or weak excuses. But there was no letter inside. It was just a printout folded up of a group chat. Honestly, I didn't get it at first. Then I saw my name, my whole name. Suddenly, my gut just clenched. It was a side conversation between my mom, Qley, and a couple of my aunts. And it wasn't old, it was from the night of my birthday. Right after I'd left, Aunt June had said, "Did he really just walk out?" Qley chimed in, "It's Lucas. He's always been dramatic." Mom typed, "I don't know what he even wants anymore." Aunt Linda added, "We feed him, he lives here rent-free, and it's still not enough. Ungrateful, like he's the only one who had a tough year." Then she wrote, "He's 29, not 12. What does he want? A pony and streamers." I read that pony and streamers line like 5 times. That's what my birthday had become a joke in a family chat, right before they probably ate the rest of the pizza I hadn't even touched. No wonder nobody came looking for me like they actually cared. They didn't miss me. They missed the idea of me, the Lucas who kept his mouth shut and paid the bills, the guy who smiled even when he was being ignored, the one who always said, "Don't worry about it," every time his feelings got trampled. I folded the paper slowly, put it back in the envelope, and put it on Darren's coffee table. "You good?" he asked from the kitchen. I just nodded once. After that, I opened up my laptop and started typing. Not a message to my mom, not a reply to Qley, not even a sassy comeback for my aunts. I checked my email and began writing to our family accountant because nobody had brought this up in the group chat. Turns out I wasn't just living there for free. Ever since Dad retired, I'd been paying the property taxes on that house and knocking out the rest of the mortgage with money I made freelancing. Plus, I covered Qley's credit card bills when she maxed them out 2 summers back, and I helped Aunt June with her dog's surgery bills. I never said anything, never asked for any of it back. I was just trying to help. But I was done, and they were about to find out. I made some calls, fired off a few emails, and put a freeze on the family account that I'd been running and funding. I stopped the automatic mortgage payments, phoned the vet where I'd been paying off Aunt June's bills, and told them to send her the invoices going forward. I canceled my Netflix, Hulu, and family Spotify accounts. No more sharing passwords. I even called the catering company that did Qley's birthday party and asked for a new invoice. My mom put it on my emergency credit card. I paid it and then canceled the card. It all blew up pretty fast. 3 days later, Qley texted me at 2 a.m. "What is wrong with you, Lucas? My gym membership is frozen. Did you really cut me off?" An hour later, my mom left a voicemail, sobbing. "I don't get it. How could you be so mean? We're family. You just bylaid and now we're getting the silent treatment. Seriously, what did we do to deserve this whole thing?" I just couldn't bring myself to call back, not because I didn't have anything to say. Oh, I had plenty brewing inside. But I knew whatever I said at that exact moment would just be turned around on me somehow. I could already anticipate it all. I was being dramatic, completely overreacting, and making everything difficult for absolutely no reason. So I did the one thing I hadn't tried in like 29 years. I shut up. And that silence, it hit them way harder than any screaming match ever could. By the time the weekend rolled around, the group chat was basically falling apart. My cousin Bate, who normally stays far away from any kind of drama, messaged me privately. "Hey, what's happening? Everyone's freaking out. Your mom's been calling everyone nonstop. Qley said you did something to mess things up. I thought you were just taking a break, right? Sabotaged, huh? That was one way to describe cutting off the people who used me like a personal bank account. Still, I didn't respond, left her message unread. And that was on purpose. I knew how fast the news would spread that Lucas was like ghosting people. Even the nice ones now. But here's the deal. It wasn't actually about who was being nice or who wasn't. It was about who stood there and watched while I was being slowly destroyed, who went along with it, who didn't say a word as I faded into the background, and then acted shocked when I finally walked away. I wasn't disappearing anymore. I was getting rid of them. It took a total of 11 days for the real panic to start. It's true because on the 11th day I got a phone call. It was Uncle Dean, a guy I hadn't talked to in ages. Dean's the type who avoids all family squabbles. He lives a few states over, rarely shows up for anything. Last time we talked was because I helped him figure out Zoom during the lockdown. Anyway, he called me at 7:48 a.m. I was half asleep when I answered. "Lucas," his voice was tight. "Your mom's been calling me like crazy. Says the house might go into foreclosure. Is that right?" I just blinked. "She's only telling you now," he hesitated. "I guess, said you stopped paying bills, that you just left." I let out a slow breath. "Did she mention the group chat?" Another pause. "What chat?" I told him about it. Not everything, but enough. The birthday, the pizza, the text messages, how they were laughing behind my back. How I'd been paying all the bills for years while they treated me like I wasn't even there. Dean was silent for a while, then he just went, "Holy crap." "Yeah, and you never said anything?" he asked, real soft. "No one ever asked," he sighed. "Well, I can't blame you. Sounds like they figured you'd just keep taking it. They always do." He didn't lecture me or tell me I had to be the bigger person. He just said, "If you need a place to crash, not your friend's couch, I got a guest room, just putting it out there." I almost lost it, but I held it together. "Thanks, Dean, really." We hung up, and for the first time in days, I could finally breathe. I knew deep down this wasn't finished. That afternoon, Mom blew up Facebook with a post. She tagged me in this blurry picture, me at 5, clutching a balloon, grinning like everything was perfect. The caption? "I don't know what I did wrong. I tried my best, but some people just choose distance over love. I miss my son." The comments went wild. Tons of aunts, church buddies, even cousins I hadn't seen since I was a kid. They all piled on with hugs, support, prayers. Some even hit me up directly, asking why I was being such a jerk to the woman who raised me. That's when it hit me. This wasn't about feelings anymore. It was all about making themselves look good. They couldn't get to me privately, so they went public, making me out to be this heartless, ungrateful son who ditched his poor, sad mom. And people were buying it hook, line, and sinker. But one comment stood out. Aunt Susan, my dad's sister, always kept to herself during family blow-ups, wrote, "Maybe if you'd thrown him something better than a leftover slice of pizza for his birthday, he wouldn't have walked out." No likes, no replies, just that. The silence afterwards. It was deafening. I just stared at the screen, my heart hammering. It wasn't anger, though. It was confirmation. Someone else saw it. Maybe not everything, but enough. Later that night, Qley texted again. This time, a screenshot of their online banking account. My bank account showed $47.93. My car payment bounced. Then I saw her text. "Hope it was worth it." That's when it hit me. We weren't just hurting anymore. We were flat out at war. They were all over social media, posting baby pics and playing the victim with their family. Meanwhile, I was cooking up something they wouldn't see coming, something I'd been holding on to for years. I didn't just slip away quietly. I'd made copies of everything financial. I had passwords, proof, the whole shebang, receipts and all. I knew exactly how much Qley owed on her car, how many mortgage payments Mom skipped, and most importantly, whose names were on all the paperwork. It wasn't about revenge anymore, not really. It was about getting my freedom back, and I was about to grab it. The next few days were a blur of getting everything ready. It wasn't out of meanness or even anger, honestly. It was this calm feeling, like when you finally accept someone's never going to apologize. I wasn't trying to wreck anyone's life. I was just done being the only one who cared. That evening, I was sprawled out on Darren's couch, laptop open, papers everywhere on the coffee table. He came in with 2 mugs. "Chamomile," he said, handing me one. "You look like you could use something besides whiskey." I chuckled, shaking my head. "Thanks, man." He sat down, looking at the mess. "You sure about this?" I looked at the bank statements, Qley's overdue payments, the house deed with my name still on it, a partial owner still. Man, all that stuff they never talked about. It was like if they brought it up, they'd have to admit how much they depended on me. I knew it, though. They used me as their safety net for years. Now it's their turn to figure things out without me. First thing I did was call the bank myself. I co-signed on their second mortgage back in 2020 when Dad lost his job. That whole family-first guilt trip, they really laid it on thick. They swore it was temporary just until things got better. But 5 years later, still my name on that loan. So I told the bank to get my name off it. It wasn't a walk in the park, let me tell you. I had to send in a bunch of paperwork, proof of payments I'd made, and even get a friend from work who's a lawyer to help get the ball rolling. But I had everything I needed. Years of bank statements showing who actually paid the bills and who just took the credit. Then I sent Qley her credit card statement, just a simple message with it. "This is yours now. Good luck." After that, I called Mr. Howard, the family accountant, the guy who always gave me butterscotch when I was little, and told him I was out. No more handling their money, especially that trust fund my grandparents left. My parents had been raiding it for upkeep and family expenses, but I knew the truth. I'd stumbled across the wine bills and the receipts from Chloe's trip to Maui last year. "I see," Mr. Howard said on the phone, and he actually sounded worried. "Are you absolutely certain about this, Lucas?" I told him. "I'm way past certain. They made their beds, you know. Now I was making mine. Once I filed all the paperwork, the group chat totally blew up. Aunt June had seen the screenshot of their texts from before. Someone had sent it to her, and she was furious. I had no idea who did it, but I bet it was Susan. Either way, things were falling apart. The guilt-tripping posts started to fade, and Chloe's Instagram was quiet as a tomb. But they still hadn't called me. Not a single time. No apologies, no owning up to anything, just total silence, broken by the occasional dig on social media and half-hearted attempts at pity parties. It wasn't until the foreclosure notice arrived that things truly went south. The bank looked over my request and my documents, and they agreed I'd done my part with the mortgage. Since I'd stopped paying and they were already 3 payments behind, the foreclosure started. That's when I finally got a call. It was my dad this time. He hadn't spoken to me directly since Christmas. Even then, all he'd said was, "Pass the potatoes, Lucas," in that rough voice of his. "We need to talk." I stood in Darren's kitchen, phone on speaker, arms crossed. "I'm listening." "What are you doing?" he snapped. "The house is on the line, they're saying. I just told him now I'm not gonna pay. There's a distinction here." "You're being mean," he said. "Over what, a birthday?" I just had to laugh. It was so ridiculous. "Dad, this isn't just about some birthday," I told him, getting serious. "This is about years of feeling like I was just some last resort, a source of money, an afterthought." He shot back, "We're your family," and I just calmly said, "No, you're people who made me feel like I wasn't even worth the price of a cake. And now they wanted me to fix their mistakes again. No way." He was silent for a beat. Then he said, real low and icy, "You'll regret this." I just replied, "Nah. I regret not doing this sooner." And then I hung up on him. A few days later, everything blew up in public. Qley put up this insanely long post with a picture of the house using phrases like tough times, betrayal from within, and rising from the ashes. She didn't say my name, but the comments section was wild. Some called her brave, and others were asking what happened. Some people who clearly knew the whole story hinted at consequences. Susan even commented, "Maybe if you treated your brother with a little of the grace you expect from other people, this wouldn't have happened." That comment had over 300 likes before Qley deleted it. That weekend, I went to visit my Uncle Dean. His house was simple, clean, and just peaceful. We sat there sipping coffee, totally quiet, and watched a baseball game. Honestly, we weren't even into it. But for the first time in ages, I could just be. No pressure, no snide remarks, just a space to exist, no strings attached. Weeks blurred into months. I found a new place just down the street from Dean. Landed a new client, which helped even out the money situation. And get this, I started dating someone. Ella, a photographer who was also into early morning hikes and strong coffee, just like me. She asked about my family. When I spilled the whole story, she didn't feel sorry for me. She just gave a nod and said, "Damn, that's rough. Glad you got out." One afternoon, as summer was turning into fall, a letter showed up. No return address. Inside, a birthday card. A real one this time. No message, no name, just a $20 bill and a single sentence written in tiny cursive. It said, "I was wrong, but I don't know how to fix it." It was from Mom. I didn't write back. Because here's the thing about being treated like you don't matter for years. You start to think you deserve it. You shrink, you bend, you twist yourself around everyone else's needs until one day you just crack silently and no one even notices. But I noticed, and I left, and I'm not going back. Not for guilt, not because I feel like I have to, not even for a $20 bill and a late handwritten apology. I finally picked myself, and you know what? That was the best birthday present I ever got.